Hi, I'm Greg. You might remember me from such other podcasts as the Serial Chillers podcast or Anxious Extroverts. This is a bit of a passion project from Jesse and myself, and we're going to bring back some of our good friends and bad friends, and we're going to talk about The Simpsons in great detail. This is a show that we've been wanting to do for a while, and officially, in its official capacity, it'll be released in probably February. But for the time being, enjoy this just to, hold you over until then. Welcome to episode 1 of the Smarch podcast.
I hope we don't get the cease and desist for just the intro.
I hope we do.
Yeah.
I still want a letter from him one way or the other.
Yeah, I do too.
I am Greg. That is Jesse.
Yeah. Yo.
Greetings, friends. We are doing a Simpsons podcast. We're going to go ahead and watch an episode and then give you an episode about that episode.
This is our passion project.
Yeah.
My
assumption.
assumption.
How, some people work for like movie studios and they're like, fine, I'll do the crazy high budget rom-com that has no artistic integrity at all so I can do my passion piece.
Right. That's kind of what Serial Chillers is. We don't give a shit about it. We just wanted to do a Simpsons podcast and needed to suck it out of you true crime folks.
We needed to fund it.
I'm just kidding. I'm assuming most of you have made your way here by hearing from the Serial Chillers podcast. If not, welcome. Greg and I normally put on a true crime game show podcast. So you could find it at Serial Chillers Podcast. But today we're here to dive into The Simpsons. And like Greg said, Smarch the podcast. I think we're going to change the name every episode. So we'll give it the unofficial official title of the Super Network Simpsons show. And then we're gonna play with that, you guys. All right? This is our fucking show.
Also taking suggestions.
Yes, always taking suggestions. So how we doing it? We going in order, chronological, top to bottom?
Season 1, episode 1, Simpsons roasting on an open fire.
Yes. This is so the great thing I feel like is that both of us were too young to have. I mean, we are both alive.
Totally.
But we are too young to have sat down and been like, "Oh, I heard about the show The Simpsons. It's coming on. It's airing this Thursday night," I believe was the original night that they aired on. Was it Sunday? Aired December 17th of 89. This particular episode is written by Mimi Pond and directed by David Silverman. I believe it's the only episode completely written by Mimi Pond.
Well, I mean, it's a good episode. It was America's introduction to the one of the most dysfunctional families on TV to date.
And wasn't supposed to be either. It was supposed to be like a mid-season deal, but due to some animation issues with the episodes, it became the first episode, and the episode that was supposed to be first was the season finale that season.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, fun little trivia before we get to the trivia.
Yeah. The episode, I like the episode because it really sets the tone for a lot of the Simpsons interactions and just kind of who they are as a family.
You understand, like, if you've only seen later Simpsons episodes and you've never gone back this far, you watch this and Homer still has the same type of interactions with Flanders that you'd expect him to. And
yeah, shut up, Flanders.
Yeah, it's very shut up, Flanders. I love
this house, and I talk like this.
Yes, I was just gonna say I love when Homer does old Homer. So this episode in particular, it's the only episode to have aired in the 80s, but I love to give that to The Simpsons because now they've been a part of 4 decades instead of 3 because they aired 2 weeks before the 80s ended. So congratulations on that.
Part.
Yeah, Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire was nominated for 2 Emmys in 1990 and has received positive reviews from television critics. It was viewed by approximately 13.4 million viewers in its original airing, which is huge.
That's incredible for like a primetime sitcom or a primetime animated sitcom.
Yeah, it's huge for
anything,
for regular sitcom, right? Yeah, especially now because nobody watches TV.
Right.
So I guess let's get to the episode itself. I mean, we've got to come up with some. I guess probably at the end we're going to need to come up with some type of rating system.
Yeah.
One,
Well,
2, 3, or 4 fingers up.
um, so one of my favorite. I like the fact that the Simpsons are just starts off with a joke. Them fishtailing into the parking lot in that beat up old yellow car, and then plowing into a pile of snow and stopping.
Yeah. So the
And then
first
they
voice
get out.
you ever hear on The Simpsons is Marge telling Homer, "Slow down, Homer."
He says, "I got it."
Yeah, we're late already. And they slam into the bank of snow too. I love that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then they just get out and leave the car, and that's
Yeah.
become like a Simpsons staple.
They park it where they feel.
And they always say, "Okay, remember where we parked."
Yeah. So they're there for Bart and Lisa's, Christmas pageant. Within the pageant, one of my favorite parts is that Homer comes in and says, "Hey, Norman, they dragged you out here too," and we never hear from Norman ever again through the entire series.
Well, Norman was the name of the wasn't Norman the name of the one-armed guy who runs the military surplus store? Perfect. Never mind.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say, even if so, not the same
Not the
guy.
same Norman.
Yeah. So, it's the Christmas pageant. It starts with we see a few. Well, first we meet Skinner for the first time.
Yeah, and he's still a dork. Like
Yeah.
Skinner's always been a wiener.
I think he might be my favorite character though.
Armin Tamzarian or Seymour Skinner?
Let's give it a slashy.
All right, Armin Tamzarian as Seymour Skinner.
Yeah, exactly. So, I believe Lisa's dance is first, right? Between the two, Bart and Lisa. She is the South Pacific representation of Santa Claus.
Yeah, in the grass skirt with the giant mask and the fire torches.
And she looks naked. And I remember I listened to the director's commentary on that, and they said it was just an animation mistake.
Yeah,
Like
you can tell it was supposed to have a grass skirt, but it just looked like honestly, it just looked low budget cartoon style.
Yeah, I never at any point was like, oh my God, Lisa's naked. But apparently that was like one of the biggest complaints about this first episode when it aired.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah, I guess the 80s were a different time.
Yeah. So Bart and his class sing Jingle Bells. And what does Marge say? Like, he's got the voice of an angel.
Sings like an angel,
Yeah.
and then he's doing the Jingle Bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg, Batmobile broke its wheel, and Joker got a whack.
And then Homer goes, huh? So
You get a really good Simpsons face there too.
Exactly.
Right on at the camera that you don't get very often.
I feel like there's one, I got to think of the episode. I just saw it the other day. I believe it's the Burlesque House episode. Where there's a really good Simpsons face of Marge because it's a profile and her teeth are out. We'll get to it. So obviously Bart, we get introduced to Bart fucking things up. We get introduced to Lisa kind of, going above and beyond. We meet
she's doing her dance and she does some move with the fire and the
she
whole
literally
crowd
is flinging fire. Yeah, exactly. We meet Skinner. We're 45 seconds into The Simpsons and we're already introduced to and developed some of the characters
that are going to be around for the next 30 seasons.
Exactly. I love that. So, the next, we cut to them putting up the Christmas lights, right?
Well, it's Marge writing the Christmas
letter.
letter.
That's right. Marge, are you done writing that letter?
Homer keeps going, Marge, like a child. And she's trying to finish up the Christmas letter in between him trying to get her attention.
She's complimenting everybody all the way through, and then she gets to Bart. Bart, well, we love Bart.
They also mentioned Snowball 1 for the first time.
Oh, yeah. So, rest in peace. So, they then cut to the Christmas lights. Homer's trying to get up his lights.
Right, exactly. They go out front and he plugs everything in. And the first thing is you hear one of the bulbs pop.
One of the 5 red bulbs that light up.
Yeah, and that's it. There are no other lights. And he's got them all the way around the house and he's got them on all the eaves, but they're all sagging. And
I'm pretty sure he even attempts to get some compliment, like, pretty good, huh?
Yeah, and then Lisa's like, and Bart just sighs.
Yeah, and then Ned, of course, very Clark
Very well.
Griswold.
Yeah, not trying to. I mean,
Yeah.
Flanders just being Flanders.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't overly it was just good, and it said Merry Christmas. Ho ho ho. Ho
Yeah,
ho ho.
the Santa with the two elves on the roof.
Yeah. So, Flanders is already starting his being just a little bit better than Homer, not on purpose, but of course this enrages.
By virtue of not being a Simpson.
Right. So they're going to go do some Christmas shopping after that, and Marge hides the family savings in a glass jar inside her hair.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because they in the early seasons they really played it off of Marge's hair like as like a cartoon pocket. Like she had all kinds of stuff in there. Like I remember there was one episode where she held a beach towel or a beach umbrella up in her hair.
I think she was literally supposed to have like giant rabbit ears under that hair originally. It was like part of the plan.
And it was supposed to be like a little callback to
Tracy Ullman show.
right.
Yeah. So I believe also Homer was supposed to be Krusty initially.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the joke there is that Bart hated Homer but loved Krusty.
They just got a little too deep into the
Herschel
Krustovsky. Yeah. So they go Christmas shopping. They go to the mall. Everybody goes and gets their money. They're going to do their Christmas shopping for each other. Bart, I guess before that, they give their Christmas lists.
Right.
Lisa's is all for a pony.
I keep telling you, Santa can't fit a pony into his sleigh.
Can't you settle for something else? And
but I've been so good.
yeah, and then Bart has several nefarious things, but one of them is a tattoo. And of course, at 8, 10, he's not allowed to have one. So they go to the mall. Of course, the first thing Bart does is goes and gets the tattoo.
He walks in and the guy goes, "One mother, please." And after he fantasizes about showing it to Marge and her being like, "That's the best gift a mother could ask for," and you makes me look so dangerous.
Yeah. How old are you?
21.
Get in the chair. So, yeah, like Greg says, cut to, ow, quit it, ow, quit it, ow, quit it, with Maggie and Lisa poking Bart's. Oh, wait, did we skip? No, we skipped it, huh? That's right. So Marge realizes Bart gets this tattoo, and she catches him in the middle of it, right? Yanks him out of the chair.
Right. He got done hurt with moth.
Yeah. Mom, I thought you were going to love it. So they've got to use their big Christmas fund that they've been saving all year in Marge's hair to get Bart's tattoo removed, his bitchin' tattoo removed.
Yeah, he was pretty psyched on it.
Yeah. That's when cut to, ow, quit it. Ow, quit it. Ow, quit it. So Lisa and Maggie poking away at it.
But the best part is that Homer walks by and goes, "What's going on here?"
And pokes it.
And Bart says, "Ow, quit
Ow,
it."
quit it. So Homer's just found out just prior to him coming home and poking the tattoo that they won't be getting Christmas bonus at the nuclear power plant this year. So in this,
cutting measures.
Yeah, we're introduced to the voice of Waylon Smithers, and we get to see Mr. Burns in his office that looks nothing like his office will throughout the remainder of the series. But still,
Charles Montgomery Burns.
They tried. Yeah, yo. So he gives an announcement saying that they've improved safety and they've been able to give raises to management and owners, but there will be no Christmas bonus this year.
Yeah.
I like Mr. Smithers, too, says, "Please continue to work as you listen to this announcement from your friend, Montgomery Burns," or Mr. Burns.
And then everybody stops and eats donuts.
Yeah, it starts with just Homer, and then there's 40 dudes eating donuts when we get there. So, so Homer's not getting a Christmas bonus, and
but he's relieved because they still have the big jar of money.
Exactly.
Gets home, finds out they don't have the big jar of money because they had to spend it to remove Bart's tattoo.
But Homer, not one to let Marge down.
Completely he falls to pieces. Right. That's one of my favorite ongoing things about The Simpsons is that the whole town of Springfield just goes to shambles over nothing.
Like they literally get into pitchfork mobs.
Yeah. But in this particular instance, it's just Homer breaking down in his typical overdramatic fashion. "Oh, it's ruined. There will be no Christmas. Christmas is canceled this
And he
year.
doesn't hide it. He doesn't go do this in his room. It's the
He
first
does it
thing he
right in front of
says
the
to his
kids.
whole family. Yeah.
But then Marge says that they just have to stretch his Christmas bonus even further, which to me that implies that they're just a struggling family. Like they try to appeal to the same crowd who watched Married with Children. You know, like
People wanted
they
that.
they wanted to see the real family versus like the Cosbys. You know,
Right.
not everybody was the Cosbys. Some people were more like the Bundys.
But if you look in there, look at the dates I put there. Look how long I didn't realize Married with Children ran for 10 years.
Yeah, 87 to 97. It got weirder in some of the later seasons
For
because
sure.
they were struggling.
Yeah,
But
but still ran for 10 seasons. And that just goes to
absolutely.
show you that not everybody wanted to see the Huxtables and
Yeah.
it was nice to see the struggle every now and again, and the struggle not be your neighbor being Steve Urkel.
Right.
Not
Right.
that there weren't heavy episodes of Family Matters.
Not having two twin daughters play one daughter,
Yeah.
like a la Family Matters
Yeah.
or Full House,
Full
I
House.
mean. But yeah, like Homer tries to I don't know, he tries to tell Marge that there's no Christmas bonus, but he can't do it. He's at the end of the day, he's a really good guy. He doesn't want to break his wife's heart, and he knows that's what he's about to do. So he tells her that he's going to do the Christmas shopping.
Yeah, he makes it like it's a big. I'm going to give you the big announcement, and he's going to tell her the bonus is gone, and instead his big announcement is that he's going to do the Christmas shopping this year.
Yeah. And then he ends up doing the Christmas shopping at the dollar store.
I love it. Pantyhose, only $5. Ooh, for
yeah,
$6.
$4.99. It's a 6-pack. What a deal. And then, paper. Bart could probably figure out something to do with this.
Yeah.
And then he picks up the squeak toy from Maggie, the little chewy pork chop.
Perfect.
It says it's a dog toy, but she can't read.
She can't read. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Homer gets his super cheap gifts, which, I mean, Marge would have
It's the
loved
thought
him
that
anyway.
counts.
Right. And he bumps into Flanders outside the store, our second introduction to Flanders. And Flanders is
Before we go on
carrying...
with that, did you realize that while he got something for Maggie and he got something for Marge and he got something for Bart, they skipped over the middle child, Lisa, again.
Yeah. They set it up quite a bit.
Yeah.
This is our first real indicator in the episode, though. Right? Yeah. So Homer's leaving the store and he bumps into Flanders, who's carrying like a giant tower of like perfectly wrapped presents. And Flanders, the nice guy he is, says, "Oh, sorry, Homer, and we got to figure out whose gifts are whose. Well, this one's mine. This one's mine. And this one's mine.
They're all yours."
Yeah.
And as they walk away, what is it, Todd that's with him?
This is going to be the best Christmas ever.
Yeah.
I think he hands back his, here's your pork chop, Mr. Simpson.
Give me that.
Yeah.
He snatches it out of his hand.
It's tough for Homer to be a good guy at this point, right, man?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's trying to provide for his family in a dead-end job.
You guys didn't know this was going to get real, huh?
Yeah.
Super Network Simpsons show is about the deepest part of The Simpsons.
You know it. Then it cuts to Homer at Moe's.
Moe's also has a very different look on the exterior.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is your first introduction to Moe's, though. Wasn't it called Moe's Cavern at this point still?
Or was have been. I don't remember specifically, but I remember the exterior looked much different than it will later. It doesn't have its signature look yet.
Yeah, it doesn't have the pool tables, I don't think.
It's mostly just the outside that really, it was like tan. It was like a tan brick building.
Yeah. So they go, it cuts to Homer at Moe's and he's trying to, drown his sorrows. And then Barney shows up with the bright idea to go be a mall Santa to save Christmas.
Yeah. And Barney's hair, trivia here, is yellow throughout the episode. And I guess after just this one episode, they decided that was going to be like a Simpsons only feature. That's why the Simpsons are the only ones whose hair is yellow.
Where does their hair start and their scalp, or where does their hair end and their scalp start?
And then occasionally it shows their skeleton and it's got pointy spots on it. Yeah. So, so Homer, I like what Homer asks him, like, "Do you think they'd let me?" And he's like, I don't know. They've got pretty strict standards. Blah.
Yeah.
And then that's
So
when there's that great interview question. So do you like kids?
what? All the time?
So Homer's gonna go, and Homer will do this. Homer sets his mind to it, and he becomes what he wants to become. So, Mall Santa training begins.
And he barely survives. I mean, barely survives.
Greg,
When
can you tell me the reindeers? Give me the Homer version of the Santa's reindeers.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Nixon, Comet and Cupid, Donna Dixon.
So yeah, he's trying. That wasn't too bad. That was a good shot. So he shows up 7 hours late to dinner. He's worked his first shift as a mall Santa after his shift at the nuclear power plant, and Marge's shitty sisters Patty and Selma are there, burning on his ass the whole time.
The second he walks in.
Yeah. And
actually, before he even walks
that's
in.
what I'm saying. They're just burning on him before he gets there. Where is he?
Probably going to show up late, smelling of cheap perfume.
And so he gets home and they give him shit and they pretty much shame him into going and getting a Christmas tree. So he passes all the expensive lots, like 80, 60, 50, oddly shaped trees before he finally...
They look like some Dr. Seuss looking shit.
Yeah, and they finally just decides to go cut one down in the forest. But it
gets shot at by the farmer.
Hey, what are you doing out there? Sends the dogs on him, chasing him down.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, then when he gets at home, yeah, why does it have a birdhouse in it?
It's a decoration. Do I smell gunpowder?
Yeah. So then the next day, Homer's working his next shift as the mall Santa, and Bart gets dared to take off Homer's Santa's beard by Milhouse. So he goes down to do it and gives him the classic line.
Well, he gets up on Santa's lap, and Homer immediately blows it because nobody knows that Homer is the mall Santa yet.
Right.
And he immediately blows it when Bart gets up on his lap. He says, "What's your name, Bartner? Little partner."
I forgot about Bartner.
And then you get the immediate gold mine of a line from Bart Simpson. "I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?"
Yeah.
Which, like, they used for so long. They used it in a bunch of episodes, right alongside Cowabunga and Eat My Shorts and I Carumba and
yeah,
you know what? all the old chestnuts.
I looked it up too because I remember him saying Cowabunga, but he only said it twice. But there's a super, like, the best-selling Bart Simpson T-shirt of all time. It's him with the skateboard and the word Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
Yeah. So I think a lot of us, I mean, it was definitely, I looked up, I guess this is where we're going to go with this, but the origin of the word is like a 1950s, like, exclamation. That was really all it was. And then, like, surfers adopted it in, like, the late 60s.
Perfect.
Yeah. And that's where, Michelangelo started using it and Bart used it a couple times.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I thought that was crazy because you put it in there and I was like, hell yeah. And I started looking it up. I wonder which one of these he used the most.
Yeah.
And there's counts on them. We'll get into those later.
Excellent. So Bart, being true to his merry prankster self, yanks Homer's beard, discovers that it's Homer, and Homer, furious, says, "Cover for me, Elfie," and drags Bart into Santa's workshop, where they have a rare heart-to-heart moment. And it was actually kind of nice because you see Homer trying to be the good father and say, "Look, I don't get my Christmas bonus," and Bart says, "Wow, you must really love us to stoop so low."
Yeah, which for Bart is a compliment.
He's still got to get his shots in though.
Yeah, but that's as good as you're gonna get from him.
Yeah. So then Homer tells Bart that it's all worth it for the day's pay, and he goes to get his paycheck from the mall lady, and it's $13.
Yeah, but it was originally 120 gross, less Social Security, unemployment, Santa training, costume purchase, beard rental, Christmas club. See you next year.
And she shuts the little window in his face.
Aw, $13.
Yeah, $26.47 today.
In case you wanted to know.
Yeah, that's $1989 to today.
Yeah. So, Barney comes back because whatever. Barney gave him the first great idea of that's what's kind of funny about it is that Barney gives him the shit ass idea to become a Santa and he goes and makes $13. And then the next time he gets an idea is from Barney, who's like, come down. I guess actually this is a good idea because Barney's dog ends up winning.
Yeah. So Barney convinces him to go to the Greyhound track. And Homer's like, I'm not going to be the kind of father that takes his son to a Greyhound track on Christmas. And then Bart said something that I always identified with as a kid. If TV's taught me anything, miracles always happen to poor kids at Christmas. It happened to Tiny Tim. It happened to Charlie Brown. It happened to the Smurfs. And it's going to happen to us.
Who's Tiny Tim? Yeah, so they go to the track, and then cut to, I'm in the money.
Yeah, but he was riding on Barney's shoulders.
Yeah.
Bart was riding on Barney's shoulders when he was singing that.
Yeah, so Bart seemed very familiar around the track. So they're trying to find their spot to bet. Barney's giving him a guaranteed winner. He's won the last 5 races. So due to a late scratch in the 4th, what is it? Sir Galahad is replaced with Santa's Little Helper at 99-1.
You hear that? It's a sign. It's an omen.
It's a coincidence.
So they get to the window and he's like, what are the odds? And 99-1. And he goes, you hear that, boy? 99 times 13 means Christmas is saved.
Homer wasn't going to do the math. He just knew that it was going to help him.
Yeah, so they book it, and then they're waiting for their race.
Yeah, and then it cuts to going home, and the family sitting around. Patty and Selma are there, just talking a bunch of shit on Homer. You get to see how smart Lisa is, and because she stays smart throughout the entire show. And so they're bashing on her, and Lisa says, like, what are you saying? And Patty says, oh, nothing, just trashing your father, dear. And after that, you want to read it?
Well, yeah, Lisa's line after that is, after the oh, nothing, just trashing your father, dear, Lisa says, well, I wish you wouldn't, because aside from the fact that he has the same frailties as all human beings, he's the only father I have. Therefore, he's my model of manhood, and my estimation of him will govern the prospects for my adult relationships. So I hope you bear that in mind. A knock at him is a knock at me, and I'm far too young to defend myself against such onslaughts. So that's coming from an 8-year-old second grader
to her aunt, who is older than her mom. So of course her aunt takes it very seriously and says, "Go watch your cartoon show, dear."
Yeah, so it just goes to show you again, they're stepping on and over the middle child.
Yeah, she's not the baby. She's not Bart. She's just, what do you have to say? Go watch your show. So Homer and Bart.
They cut back to the track.
Yeah, Homer and Bart watch the race, and Santa's Little Helper doesn't even finish the race.
Maybe he's just building up for suspense, Dad.
I love that. I just want to stay till he finishes. Let's get out of here.
Let's just go.
Yeah. And then they're searching for winning tickets on the pushing aside cigarette butts and beer cans, and
that's how you want to spend Christmas Eve with your son, is scavenging the dog track parking lot.
Find anything, boy?
Right after that, Homer says he doesn't want to be the type of father who takes his son to a Greyhound track on Christmas Eve. They cut to the track, and one kid's like, "Can we open our presents now, Dad?" And the dad goes, "You know the tradition, not till after the 8th."
So good. So good. The show that never stops giving.
There's just jokes, inside jokes.
And they never end. Quick side note, the other night I was laughing, and I think I was just doing some laundry, and my wife, Danny, from the other room says, "What are you laughing at?" And I kind of poked my head out the bedroom door and I said, "Oh, nothing. Just literally the greatest and longest running television show of all time." So you figure it out, okay?
Yeah.
So they realize that they've lost it all. The $13 is gone. And
Christmas is no longer saved.
yeah, they decide to pack it up and head home.
As they're walking out, you hear the owner of one of the race dogs yelling at his dog, telling him he's
Kind of
worthless, and
chasing them off.
he's you lost your last race. Get out of here. And he comes sprinting across the parking lot, and you get another good Simpsons face facing straight at the camera.
Yeah.
And Homer going, oh no, you don't.
And just jumps right into his arms.
Yeah, while Homer's dressed as Santa.
Right. Santa's
And
little helper. It's a sign.
yeah, Bart's like, can we keep him? Please, please, can we keep him? Homer gives him the old, he's a loser. He's pathetic. And then he gets licked in the face and he says, he's a Simpson.
Yes.
Which does a lot. It gives some pretty good insight to the rough hand that the Simpsons have been dealt, just for the sheer fact that they're Simpsons,
Yeah.
And it gets displayed in later episodes in more detail, but you can see it all starts here.
Right, which is again crazy because, like I said at the top, like this was not initially supposed to, like this may have got the ball rolling in the way that it needed to. Like perhaps what was supposed to be the season premiere was not going to capture people quite like this did.
Yeah, because this had a really good chance to pull on people's heartstrings with all these touching moments that people can identify with,
Right.
coming up short at Christmas time, things being a little tight, needing a miracle.
Right. Having to break the bad news to your spouse or your family,
Right. And they're dealing with it in a humorous way. And
but
it's
still relatable, even though
right.
it's a cartoon and their skin is yellow and it's a place that exists in almost every state.
Yeah. Springfield. Oh, hi, Maude.
Yeah. So they go home. They've got the dog, and Homer's ready.
You don't know that yet. Homer just walks in and breaks down again in his overdramatic fashion.
The confession begins.
Yeah, I didn't get my Christmas bonus this year, and I didn't want it to ruin Christmas, and that's about as far as he gets before Bart comes running in with Santa's little helper.
Look what we got!
And Lisa says, it's true, love at first sight does exist.
Yes. And Marge is also quite thrilled by the prospect that Homer, although he did not get his Christmas bonus, did not tell her about it, knew that the other money was gone. And she doesn't necessarily know at this point that he's become a mall Santa to earn $13 and have lost it at the track. But she understands that Homer went and did something that made the family a better, stronger, like more loving unit with a pupper named Santa's Little Helper. Santos L. Helper.
She said it's the best gift of all, something to share our love and frighten prowlers.
Yes. When Lisa asks what his name is, Homer says,
Number 8. I mean, Santa's Little Helper.
And that's it. That's the end of the episode. So
yeah, when it goes to credits, it's them singing around the piano, singing carols.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I love this episode. I love it from pretty much top to bottom. We kind of put a favorite quote section in, but we covered them for sure. Few little things about the episode that maybe I didn't get to as far as trivia. It's the first episode, but we don't get a couch gag.
Yeah, because it was the Christmas special.
Yeah, so I don't know that there's another episode that does not include a couch gag. There's some Halloween specials for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so there's going to be a couple, but it's
I think there are a couple that don't include couch gags, because I seem to remember one where the camera pans in from the top to the house.
Okay.
And it just goes straight into Marge in the kitchen making breakfast or something like that. So
yeah, so they're trying some new shit out. Maybe we'll keep a count on that starting tonight.
There you go.
The no couch gag episode. So yeah, we don't get a couch gag in this episode, which we will grow to love throughout. I mean, like the couch gag becomes at some point it becomes like an episode inside the episode. They're bringing in like guest directors and guest stars to be in the couch gags.
That's way later, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we'll get you guys around episode 450 for those.
Yeah.
So I think for me a big thing about this was that that who knows what would have happened if this wasn't the first episode everybody got to see.
Right. If it started with the actual episode that they
Yeah.
wanted it to, it could have just been a ratings tank and the whole thing could have failed, never got off the ground. We wouldn't have it 30 years later.
Exactly. So, speaking about the beginning of the pageant, Matt Groening talks about this being inspired by a second grade. The South Pacific. Matt Groening talked about it being inspired by a second grade report he had to do on Christmas in Russia.
Which Lisa is in second grade.
Yeah. So a lot of the show is inspired by like Matt Groening's childhood and his parents and his friends. He's Matt Groening from Oregon, though, if I'm not mistaken. This was Mimi Pond's only episode. Al Jean came up with the name for the episode. Rich Moore storyboarded and scenes were laid out by Eric Stefani, who is the brother of Gwyn. So the first episode of
No doubt.
Yeah, of this, right. Like what? Of course it was. The first episode of The Simpsons had the storyboard laid out by Gwen Stefani's brother. This shit is bananas.
That's why he left, no doubt. He got
Yeah.
a real job.
Yeah. Seymour Skinner, Milhouse Van Houten, Sherry and Terry, Mo Sizlak, Mr. Burns, Barney Gumble, Patty and Selma, Ned and Todd Flanders, Santa's Little Helper, Snowball 2, Dewey Largo, and Lewis all make their first appearances in this episode. As well as what's that?
Did you get Milhouse? I didn't.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And an early version of Ralph before he was super dumb.
They ran through a few versions of Ralph before they settled on the little on what they have now.
My cat's breath smells like cat food.
Hello, Principal Skinner. Hello, Super Nintendo Chalmers. I'm learning.
Yeah, so I mean that's the show. We'll get it tightened up as we move along here, but we really just wanted to talk about Simpsons, and this is like one episode down, 655 to go or whatever it is, 65. I'm excited for a lot of things. We'll add some social medias or something sooner than later, but for now,
You already know how to get a hold of us.
Exactly.
If you don't, go listen to Serial Chillers podcast,
and they'll tell you there. For now.
Shh. Don't tell me to shh.
I love
that. This has been another presentation from Super Network.